probably explain why she made this up and what purpose does it serve to identify her treatment as racist when recently she identified it as anything but.
Listen, think back. You know what? The more I've said this for years. I mean, the more, well, Rush Limbaugh says it as well. The more you let people talk, the more they will reveal who they are. And if you remember, six plus years ago when he was elected, the infamous quote, "For the first time in my life, I'm proud of my country." Now, she tried to cover it up. Folks tried to cover it up. But that's who she is. That's what she thinks, and she views as does he. I mean, who would say before any evidence was in whatsoever on Trayvon, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. For the first time in my life, I'm proud of my country. There are various videos. There are various images of her standing in disgust during maybe not the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever have you. And again, I'm a little foggy on this because it's been a while since I've seen some of that stuff. But these people, this kind of stuff, Michael, reveals who they really are. And yes,
Well,
to your point,
he made a comment. He made reference to the to that comment about Trayvon. Um, in the
right.
People magazine article, he said, "It's one thing for me to be mistaken for a waiter at a gala. It's another thing for my son to be mistaken for a robber and to be handcuffed or worse if he happens to be walking down the street and is dressed the way teenagers dress." He specifically made reference to Trayvon Martin in this exact interview. This is still an issue for him. It's something wrong with America, in his opinion. Let's talk about that and not about Michelle's earrings, her hairstyle, or unfortunate wardrobe choices. Please,
You're exactly right. I mean, and
please, can we compose, or not compose? Can we constrict our comments to unbelievably important, revelatory things, not pantsuits?
and this is all, this is kind of thing that happens on both sides. I mean, the attacks on the Sarah Palin's children, or the stupidity of the moron rancher from Crawford, Texas. Unfortunately, on both sides of the spectrum, we have people that want to get down in the dirt. And no, you're exactly right there. But you know, listen, particularly in light of Ferguson and the fire there, Eric Garner and the fire there, the hypersensitive nonsense going on about air quotes racism being rampant in this country now. If Obama really believes that, if they really believe that, how on earth do they think this interview with People magazine and coming out again and talking about, yeah, racism exists, here's how we were put upon? I just don't understand how they think that helps a positive narrative.
Well, your assumption is they're interested in a positive narrative. I mean, maybe you're not assuming that, but by saying that, that's the implication. I don't believe they are interested in a positive narrative. I believe they are interested in continuing a particular narrative with a particular agenda behind it.
Well, yeah, and what's in it for them and what's in it for the country? What's in it for his legacy? It just doesn't. I mean, maybe he's so petty and small and thin-skinned, and she is as well, that they just can't help it. And they're saying, to hell with it. We're not running for anything anymore. I'm not running for anything anymore. Of course, she thinks she's been elected to something because she castigates Congress on a regular basis when they oppose her school lunch program. But maybe they just said, you know what, to hell with it. We're almost out of here. We can say what we want to say. We can do what we want to do, and screw anybody who doesn't like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Hey, we didn't pimp the show. And by the way, speaking of the show, 2:30 Phil Kerpen, right? President of American Commitment, a nationally syndicated columnist. This guy's cool. Chairman of the Internet Freedom Coalition, author of the book Democracy Denied. He'll join us. And then at the top of the hour, speaking of IJR and our accolades, our up-and-coming young writer, Justin Charters, one of them, I should say, is going to join us at 3. So, Michael, it's going to be a full show, dude, and you might as well do a bit of pimping.
It is going to be an extremely full show. Okay, the pimping is this. Our number, if you'd like to call in, 412-567-6879. Please follow The Right Mics on Twitter. It's at The Right Mics. We've had the thing going for a couple of weeks, and it's gaining followers nicely. Also, our website, where we put interesting stuff, archives, links, show topics, expand upon the things that we're talking about, which is therightmics.us.
Perfect. Okay, dude, I want to play. We're random here. We got about 10 minutes to go, but
Yeah, good.
you and I both love MSNBC and the cast of characters there, right?
Love.
Great entertainment. Washington Free Beacon. We were going to do this yesterday, but ran out of time. But a short mashup, as we in the business call call them. But let's call them the greatest hits of MSNBC in 2014. We're going to play that in a second, and I think we need to put that up on the Right Mike's blog as well, because as fun as it is to listen to, you got to see it to get the full, the full effect. And maybe let's listen as a tease, if you will, to visit the site. So here is, according to Washington Free Beacon, the worst of MSNBC in 2014.
Well, you're a dumbass, aren't you?
I'm sorry, sir.
Keep it right here on Morning Jew. Joe.
Today kicked off National Breast Awareness Month. Nothing compares to Nazi Germany.
Are the Republicans interested in a perpetual state of war?
Do you think there is a limitation we're suffering from in terms of the racial diversity of these emojis?
The IRS, who was trying to get this out, they were the ones that have been actually targeted in this whole investigation.
Not raising the wage, the minimum wage, is every bit as racist as comments made by Cliven Bundy and Donald Sterling.
Capitalism is really what is the oppressive force.
Part of embracing a truly worldwide competition is accepting the fact the U.S. cannot simply assert its dominance.
Arson and looting, while illegal, are also not necessarily violent.
Tolerance, no, it should not be a two-way street.
I ain't saying that Obama's Jesus, but for many of his followers he is.
The white delegation chooses Drake. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO.
My white mother had black motheritis.
Those old white people, they're gonna die someday.
Yeah, you can't keep your crappy plan. Just deal with that. Just deal with that. Just deal with that.
Shut up, Mike Huckabee.
Dumpster love.
Mama, I'm in love with a criminal.
Bring it from your loins, loins, loins.
That's tough with Carl Rope. He's a kamikaze. And I'm not knocking previous kamikazes. Sheldon Adelson's whore bar. What's worse, Tom Tillis or Ebola?
Is Georgia impeached?
Here's some good socialism for you.
And then they're they're re-traumatized again, verbally.
He does use the name of the team, so I'm just going to warn you guys about that.
Use the name Redskins.
The Chris Christie, New Jersey bridge lane closure scandal seems to have broken wide open.
The scandal that I believe has already ended Chris Christie's political future.
It does not sound like the report itself exactly clears Christie, does it?
It just says that there isn't any evidence that actually links him to the Lange closures.
The odds of the Democrats holding on to the Senate moved to 85%. Republicans are going to be so mad about this.
The Republican Party is teetering right now on this brink of not being relevant.
Going to hasten the demise, the end of the Republican Party.
The avalanche that we were told for months that was going to happen for Republicans has not happened.
My congratulations to the Republican Party. Let's not try to get around this. It was a crushing defeat for Democrats.
Barack Obama is Jesus, Michael.
Oh my gosh, that's so hilarious, man.
That comment by Sharpton near the end, and again, we should put this up so people can watch it, but that comment by Sharpton, I'm surprised he actually got through the word avalanche, but he was like desperately into the mid-evening on when midterms during that night, during the elections, was just doing everything he could to convince himself that the avalanche, again, very impressive, Reverend Al, was not happening. And he was beginning to, well, he's always a fool, always makes a fool out of himself. But even his cohorts sitting around the panel were looking at him like, dude, it's all over. You can't beat MSNBC. You talk about a snorkel squad of knuckleheads, man. It's hilarious.
Well, I'm not saying he's Jesus, but
I mean, you look at his followers, and you can begin to see the similarities.
There's some things that remind me of the Son of God, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's just absolutely hilarious, man. That's so good.
I love it. All right, so where are we? We got the pennies from nickels thing. We don't have time to do that.
No, we don't have time to go whether or not we're torturers. Good grief, man. Oh, let's do. What said that? Oh, you know what? I did just get an email, by the way. There's already an email. This is from the HuffPost. Obama did say that he felt like Sony made a mistake in pulling the North Korean film. And I think it's really wonderful when the president comes out using his bully pulpit to castigate the decisions of individual businesses. I mean, if I were the president of Sony, or if I were a guy cleaning up the floors at Sony, I would say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Do you disagree about that? Is the president should be weighing in on the private individuals, private companies?
I don't know. I look at that comment, and that's the first time I've heard it. Obviously, since we've been on the show, but no, I agree with his comment, and I think it's. I mean, just off the top of my head here, I think the comment is larger than just Sony, because we talked about this yesterday in the dangerous precedent. I will be more interested to see if he says anything, which I'm sure he won't, in terms of what he plans to do, or even go to the point to say, I'm meeting with whomever. He's always meeting with his cabinet or world leaders and whatever have you. But no, in this instance, I'm much more interested in what he plans to do about it, and if in fact he even gave any indication that he's working on it or thinking about it or whatever. But no, I agree with him. I do. I think it's larger than Sony, and I think he's right.
Right. Dan Fitzgerald, one of our loyal fans and listeners whom we love, he just sent me a tweet saying that he thinks that Sony should put the interview online for free.
That's what Mitt Romney said yesterday. Just put it online for free. Thousands of times more people will see it than would have in theaters.
Yeah. Did you see the number of tweets or the retweets of Romney's comment? It was like 6,000 or 7,000 retweets.
I did not see that.
Yeah, and the article, who did that? Dave Jorgensen did. Okay, here we are. Here's what Mitt Romney said. At Sony Pictures, don't cave, fight, release the interview free online globally, ask viewers for a voluntary contribution to fight Ebola, 23,000 retweets.
That's awesome. And, you made the point yesterday, whether it's Ebola or whether it's somehow to get aid to, you're not going to get it to the people in Korea, because even if you tried, the government's going to get the money. But, I think... I don't know. I mean, would not be a crowdfunding source per se or whatever, but I think that if Sony did that, put it online free, asks for donations to a number. I mean, you could have check the box below. That would at least save a bit of face for them, because, again, I don't know how many times I've said it, but not only dangerous precedent, but I put up those EE cards or whatever that people post on Facebook. I put up one I just shared one this morning, and I have to paraphrase, but it was kind of like, I can't wait till North Korea tells me what movie my family and I can watch on Christmas.
Oh, exactly. Right.
So, yeah. All right, dude, you're going to take us out.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to The Right Mics with IJ Reviews, Mike Miller, and Michael Hausen. We've got Phil Kerpen with American Commitment on in a second. And IJ we've run a few of their videos, and these guys are fantastic. He's going to be a great guest. We're excited about that. You can also call in 412-567-6879. We will be right back.